Hello, my name is James Shields, and I'm tomorrow I'll be 8 years and 1 month sober. And to my left is, which has become quite a famous scale now, David Hawkins' Levels of Consciousness scale. I've been reading David Hawkins' books since 2016. I became aware of this book only in 2016, and it was called Transcending the Levels of Consciousness, the Stairway to Enlightenment. Now, I got a computer version of the book. I lost it on the computer, and then I got the paperback version in 2021. Now, in regards to alcoholism and in regards to recovering from drinking, David Hawkins wrote another book called Healing and Recovery. And he came out with a new theory. This is water, by the way. Highland Springs, quite nice actually. Sparkling. I started drinking that recently. He came out with this book called Healing and Recovery. And he did a whole chapter about alcoholism. And he came out with a new theory, a brand new theory about why people drink. And the theory, as I finally understood it recently, is relatively simple to understand. And all we have to do is refer to this map of consciousness scale to understand it. Now, as you can see, various emotions have various numbers attached to them, which are more powerful vibratory fields, more photons within the vibratory field. And the theory about alcoholism is relatively simple. Alcohol blocks off the lower energy fields of 0 to 200 and just gives the human brain a perception of the higher energy fields from 560 actually, 600. So you may well be feeling angry and fearful and desireful, and you might be actually at that level of consciousness. But when you have a drink, it will shoot up. It will shoot up. Ooh, all the way up there. All the way up there. And you will feel joyous and happy. It blocked off those emotions there and shot you up right up to there. Now, and this is the book I'm looking at, but actually I thought I'd quote it, but actually I'm remembering what it was saying basically. And ecstasy, which is a drug, it's called ecstasy. Interesting enough, at the level 560, you get into the levels of love and joy and ecstasy. So the drug called ecstasy gets you up to the 560 level, which is actually ecstasy. Joy is 540, and ecstasy is 560, and then peace is 600. And this is also precisely what alcohol does. So, what's the cure for alcoholism then? Well, there you go. There you have it. You know what I'm talking about. Basically, you've got to go naturally, and it's in hard. I nearly swore there, but not quite. You've got to go from there all the way up to there, all the way, keep going, and then past 560 and up into 560 and 600 naturally. So therefore, if you're at a level of 580, or if you're at a level of 590 or 600, you're beyond the high that alcohol can give you. Because alcohol can only give you the high of 560, just past joy. If you go past joy and into peace at 600, you won't need the alcohol anymore. And I think I'm around there now. And that's basically the theory. It's actually that simple. He talks about this movie called Lost Horizon also, which was made in the 1930s, but was a big film at the time. And basically, like, the characters, they come across this Shangri-La, this hidden place in this mountains, and everybody's like, peace and love, man. Wow, everyone's singing and dancing. There's some good routines in it. There's good songs in it and everything. They did it. They also did a musical version in the 70s, and basically all these characters in this Shangri-La place, they're all at a level of 600. They're in a high vibration level of 600. And that's what's going on there. So it's peace and love, man. Peace, peace. And in the movie, the musical wasn't a success, but the actual 1930s film was. But basically, when the characters turn up in this place and everybody's, wow, man, wow, out in a kind of peaceful mind state, some characters in the story react positively, and they want to stay in that place. The main character finally goes back there. He wants to stay in that place because he feels quite happy. Other characters, they actually can't stand it. They actually, man, this is like, nah, hang on, this is like a bit, you can't be that happy. Well, what the hell's going on? Bloody hell, man, these people are off their heads, right? And some of the characters in the story, they want to escape, like his brother wants to escape and all that, and other things happen. But some want to escape, some want to stay there. And so that's interesting. I think they're at different levels of vibration or something, but that's the story. That's what the story really means. And he mentions this in the book. But I think, especially this last year, I think this last year has been 540 to 600. And it really has suddenly, there's suddenly no need for drinking now, I don't think. There's no need for drinking. And there's one other thing that happens at this level of 540 to 600. There's an endorphin release in the brain. They could be termed love chemicals, man. Well, I tell you what, it's definitely something that happens, because I feel far more relaxed about things than I ever have bloody happened. I know when it happened. It happened in December. It happened when I came back from Bridport on the bus back. I must have been at about 570 or something, but it's been happening ever since, like January, February, March, April, May. And so there's an actual biological release of endorphins if you get to this level. There's an actual physical, biological release of endorphins, which calms you down a hell of a lot. You're not out of it. I'm not out of it. Oh, wow, man. Wow, man. Wow. I'm not like that, man. I'm still talking normally. But it's just, it kind of calms your mind down a lot. It calms your mind down a lot. And you don't take things off as seriously. You're not out of it in a pushover, but it's just kind of like a natural. I didn't even knew they were there. So there we go. That's what happens. And I'm just looking at this. What else did he say? But basically, that's kind of like what alcohol does. It will get you up to that level, and you might have a bit of endorphin release as well. It's like a shortcut. You can get there naturally, but in my experience, it's taken 8 years to get there. 8 years of sobriety to get there. And I've gone slowly up that scale. Each year, I've gone slowly up that scale. And I felt every bloody emotion you can possibly experience. I felt it, and it's a long journey. But that's basically the theory. And the addiction comes from suddenly jumping up to that high state of mind, that sudden endorphin release, getting up to 560 when you have a drink. That's where the addiction comes from, because then you want to actually get back to that state of mind as quickly as possible. But you can get there naturally, but it's taken 8 years. So that's kind of like basically it. That's what he was talking about. And I'm just looking at the book now. That's basically what he was talking about. And the other interesting thing was he linked this scale of consciousness. Actually, I'm just remembering because I've just read it. He linked this scale of consciousness with the 12-step Alcoholics Anonymous movement. And he reckoned that if you got to the 540 to 600, can you see that on my, if you got to 600, that would be the end of the 12 steps, right? That would be a spiritual awakening. That will be the end of the whole thing, the whole process. So that was quite interesting. I can't find the bit here, but yes, he said that once you got to 600, because if you look at the scale again, it says spontaneous healing between 540 to 600. So this healing really starts to happen, and I think it's really to do with the endorphin release. And yes, and he also said that the Alcoholics Anonymous movement calibrated at 540. So the sober people in the Alcoholics Anonymous movement were at 540 to 600. So he reckoned that if you get to 600 on that scale, that calibrated with the end of the 12 steps. Yes. Once one is into the addictive alcoholic process, there is no turning back. There is only confrontation with owning the truth about oneself. Recovery depends on accepting that process, moving joyfully into it, being grateful. So you have to basically confront yourself, and you have to have the courage to continually do it relentlessly in an all-out battle, man, until you get to that top bit where it seems to be now that the 12th step has now been finally achieved after 8 years. I think I've said enough. I'll talk about the other books because there's some other stuff in the other books as well. But I think that's it for the time being regarding this, because I'm a bit tired. See ya.